We are interested to examine whether corruption can affect sanitation service in a country or over the world. Based on previous research, there is no study that investigates the effect of corruption on sanitation using worldwide data. There is only research using data for a few countries or a region, so it is interesting for us. The most recent study closest to ours was made in 2008, so we want to update it using 2017 data. Sample of our research, also bigger than previous studies, covers 161 countries all over the world, not limited by continent or part of any country. We use cross-country dataset from 161 countries with OLS regression method and logarithm model.
We use 5 literature as the basis of our study. First literature is the ill effects of public sector corruption in the water and sanitation sector, made by Anbarci, Escaleras, and registered in 2008. Second literature is written by Pusok in 2016. The sample is 56 non-OECD countries from 1991 until 2012. In the same year as Pusok, study by Adams et al. Was published. The sample of the study are household members in Ghana, including women aged 15 until 49 and men until 59. Study by Chunga et al. Also published in 2016 with a sample of 1,300 property owners from 27 low-income urban Malawi areas. Last study that we use as the basis of our study is written by Ide in 2009. This study revealed that GDP per capita growth was negatively correlated with corruption.
For control variable, we use education, population, and GDP per capita. From our regression model 1, sanitation has a positive significant correlation with CPI with a coefficient of 0.568. We use 5% significance level for all equations. The first control variable is education, is model 2. Sanitation and education have a positive significant correlation with a coefficient of 0.397. It means when there is 1 point increase in education, there is also an increase 39.7% in sanitation. The second control variable that we use is population density. Sanitation and population density have a positive correlation but not significant. Population density only affects 1.9% of sanitation service if there is a 1% increase in the population density. The third control variable is GDP per capita. Sanitation and GDP per capita have a positive significant correlation, is model 4. Since the t-value of GDP per capita variable is bigger than 5% significance level. When we look around the world, the problem of the development of sanitation is always associated with Africa region. Based on UNICEF publications, more than 70% of the population in Eastern and Southern Africa have no access to basic sanitation services. So, we are interested in measuring the big impact of geography on sanitation services. We divided all of the countries based on the continents, so there are 6 areas, excluding Antarctica, that we use to measure. We use dummy variables to quantify the data for the continents.
Sanitation is an important factor in getting out of poverty. Since African citizens, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, fall on difficulty to access sanitation, this makes it difficult for Africa to get out of the cycle of poverty. From a report written by Sohail and Kavil in 2008, there's an estimate that people living in sub-Saharan Africa spend 40 billion hours in a year for collecting water, which is equivalent to the number of hours worked in 1 year for the entire French workforce. About 5% of GDP in Africa is reduced from illness and death due to poor sanitation and unsafe water each year. Based on the research we have done, corruption in the country greatly affects the level of sanitation procurement. Coupled with other variables such as education, population density, and GDP per capita, quite disturbing our variable of interest, even though, in fact, education, population density, and GDP per capita also affect the level of sanitation. If a country has a high level of corruption, especially in the water and sanitation sector of public facilities, it can decrease the level of sanitation because there will be very few sanitation facilities that people or the community can use. This will have an impact on the development of a country in the end. Countries that lack sanitation facilities will find it difficult to get out of the cycle of poverty.